Oh, you gotta see this one because I was running one single channel stick of RAM, 8GB, and still this thing hammers. Woof, that's the only way to fly. So, righto, tell you there, champs, and this is a budget gaming laptop, but I can tell you now, it doesn't perform like a budget gaming laptop. And I'll give you the tip, you don't have to spend any more money than you do on this. Leave the latest price in the description. This is the Lenovo Legion 5. Comes with AMD power. Yes, the AMD Ryzen 7 4800H 8-core CPU, so compute off the charts with this thing. Also comes with a GTX 1650 Ti. I believe you can get a 1650 and a 1660 Ti as well. Now, because this is a more affordable gaming laptop, it actually comes with one single stick of 8GB RAM. And usually I'll change that to 16 gigs dual channel, but because people are going to buy it at this price point, I want to test how it goes like this. And let me tell you, it goes alright. Now it's Lenovo, so you know it's built tough. It actually looks very similar to the Legion 7, so it's more expensive premium brother. Check out my review on that if you want to see that. That's an amazing laptop, but this thing here looks like that. But of course it's more budget friendly, a bit more plastic on it, but still built tough. I mean, I pick them up like this. Lenovo's, they're built tough, they're solid, you can push in the keyboard, they're just tough. You know it's going to take a beating, so I like the build quality there. And it is a 15-inch laptop, 24mm thick, and it's 2.3 kilos, which I believe is around 4.5 pounds. Don't quote me on that, I think it's around there. So all that's pretty typical for a 15-inch gaming laptop. Everything's alright there. Now it does have a generous array of ports. The only one that's really missing is Thunderbolt 3. AMD systems, usually you don't get a Thunderbolt 3, but it does come with 4 USB 3.1 Gen 1s, one USB 3.1 Type-C, one HDMI 2.0, one Ethernet, and a combination audio jack. Now what I like about this is there's a lot of ports out the back. So you can see here this is plugged in, but you wouldn't even know it's plugged in because it's nice and clean. There are ports on the side for like your mouse and stuff like that, but it's good to have the ports on the back to have a nice clean setup. And also you can see the vents there, so it does exhaust out the vent. And I got to tell you, this thing is cool and quiet. I'll get to that in a sec. Now when it comes to the display, this is a 15.6 inch full HD IPS panel. It's 120 Hz. It's got a 25 millisecond response time. Now I did measure the color gamut. It claims it's 250 nits. Yeah, I'll give it that. And it was low 70s like sRGB. Now when I saw that it had a 25 millisecond response time, I thought, what? This can't be the display I'm using. Yes, it's not that bright. I like to see displays at least 300 nits, so just bear that in mind. But it's like a hell of a lot better than 60 Hz display, and I didn't feel drunk playing with it. The tearing wasn't an issue. And even the ghosting or anything like that, it didn't feel bad, like it was like a really slow display. It felt fine. So I didn't have any problems gaming on this. I will say there is a better option if you want to spend a bit more money. It's 144 Hz display, 3 millisecond response, 100% sRGB, and it's 300 nits, so it's brighter. So it is a better display, but I think, you know, if you're going at the lower price point, a lot of people will be using this 120 Hz that I have, and yeah, I don't mind it. It's fine. But you do have the option of a better one if you want. And at that price point, I think it's a fair enough display. But if I had that extra bit of cash, and you'll see later with 8GB of RAM, it still games well. I'd rather just spend it on the display and upgrade the RAM later. Now when it comes to sound, let's have a listen here. Let's do it. Yeah, the GTA 5 peer, baby. Woo! Just looking at that video makes my back hurt. Now the keyboard and trackpad, it's a Lenovo keyboard. It is awesome. It's full size RGB. The RGB isn't that bright, but it is an awesome keyboard. I mean, Lenovo don't really make bad keyboards. Trackpad on the other hand is, well, it's actually all right. The only thing I would say is it's off to the left, so yeah. The ergonomics are a bit off for me, but that's what happens when you have a full-size keyboard. You're going to be using a mouse anyway, it's a gaming laptop, but the trackpad's fine, you don't have to worry about it, it works well. Now it does come with this 170 watt power brick, I believe if you get the 1660 it's like 230 watts, which is smallish for a 15 inch, but I was getting, over 5 hours battery life. I'd say it's around 5-6 hours normal sort of use there, which is excellent for a gaming laptop, especially considering it's 60 watt hours. That's quite good, and it's 120 hertz display, so the battery life gets a tick here. Performance, well, this thing is amazing because I only had 8 gigabytes of RAM single channel, and that slows your system down, right? You want to be in dual channel, ideally 16 gigs RAM. But even with one stick of 8 gigs RAM, I was still playing pretty much every game 60 frames per second, high settings. Of course, there will be some games that won't do that, but even Flight Simulator, yes, Flight Simulator, pretty much 60 frames per second, high end, woof. That's what you want. And of course, if you put dual channel RAM in it, you put 16 gigs in it, it's going to perform better. So to sum up the performance, it is a 60 FPS, high settings, most games. Now it has a 120 Hz display and you can get 144 Hz. You definitely want a 1660 if you want to get the most out of those displays. If you want the frames up there, unless you're playing CSGO or Fortnite or something like that. But this thing here with 8 gigs RAM performs pretty much identical to an XPS 15, which has an Intel CPU and it had like 16 gigs RAM. And the FPS was pretty much the same as an XPS 15, configured like that. Near enough identical to the XPS 15, which is very surprising to me because it only had that 8 gigs of RAM. I guess it can just pump more watts into the GPU, whereas the XPS 15 can only pump 40-50 watts. So 8 gigs and still gaming well, that's amazing. But the best thing is, it's quiet, it's cool, okay? The temperatures, even in Battlefield, well controlled, like high 60s, 70s. Battlefield, maybe it might touch 80 here and there, and that's only in the hard games, right? All other games, like I had to check, is it in performance mode? What's going on? The fans, where's the fans? I'm used to being deafened. I wasn't getting deafened with this. This Legion 5 is actually quieter than a MacBook Pro and an XPS 15. Yes, and it's a gaming laptop. Now the XPS 15 is much quieter than gaming laptops, and this is even quieter than that. It's like 49 decibels. If we have a look inside, you can see that heatsink there. It looks good, it's doing a good job. You actually have room for a 2.5 inch drive. So if you want to put an SSD or hard drive there, I probably would have preferred the battery to take up that space, but whatever, you can upgrade the RAM and then you can upgrade the M.2 NVMe SSD. So all good here. I've got to say, at this price point, it's really hard to beat. It's got AMD CPU, so compute through the roof. And if you want a game 1080p, high settings, 60 FPS, this one kills it. And if you had the 1660, yeah, even better. So overall, I've got to say, this thing is a winner for its price point. Check out the description for the price. I mean, you can't go wrong. The only minor points I would say is, I wish the higher end option of the display was the standard display. That being said, I still don't have any complaints at this price point with this display. It's just a bit dim. Other than that, this is an ace gaming laptop, and yeah, you're gonna love it if you get it. And you're gonna thank the gaming gods that it doesn't deafen you either. So anyway, catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.